Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a personal bankruptcy attorney here in Atlanta. And I'd like to talk to you today about a situation that does pop up periodically, and that is I have a client who files Chapter 7 and surrenders a vehicle back to the lender, but the lender doesn't want the vehicle. It basically won't come pick it up and really won't respond at all. What do you do? What are your rights with regard to that vehicle? Well, a couple of different options. And first, let me just say, as an overview, this is one of these muddy areas of law where there's nothing definitive about it. This is sort of, we deal with it kind of on a case-by-case basis. So if you really don't want the vehicle, you can't afford to insure it, or there's any other reason you don't want it, what you could do is literally take the vehicle to the bank's parking lot at a branch of the bank, walk in, hand the keys to a teller, and walk out with a little note saying, "I'm surrendering the car." Basically give it back to them. I've seen people do that, and that's one way to get rid of the vehicle. The second thing to do is to try to negotiate something. And if the lender does not show much interest in taking the vehicle back, we can sometimes approach the lender and work out a deal where basically we buy the vehicle for some relatively small amount of money, maybe even with installment payments. So the vehicle, the lender gets something, you get the vehicle, and you have some clarity in your life about what's going on. Because obviously, if you surrender the vehicle and they don't pick it up, the risk would be they could at some point wake up and repossess your vehicle, 2 years from now. Although, again, that's very, very unlikely that would happen. So that's another option. The third option would be simply just to drive the vehicle and treat it like it's your car. And again, the risk there would be that you could be subject to a repossession at some point. But again, the longer time goes by, the less likely that's going to happen. You would need to keep the vehicle insured. And sometimes that can be an issue if you don't have title to the vehicle and you can't actually get somebody to cooperate who does have title. But if you can get insurance on the vehicle, then you can continue to drive it. You would never be able to sell it because you wouldn't have title to the vehicle. I guess in theory you could file a complaint in state court to quiet title to the vehicle on the grounds that the lender has abandoned it. But again, that's kind of an expensive process for a car that's probably not worth very much. But I've had a number of people, they simply just drive the car until it drops, and they basically get free use of a car. And I would take the position that the lender would basically have walked away from any right, waived any right to try to claim any money for use of the vehicle or anything like that. If you surrendered it in bankruptcy and they didn't take any action for 2 or 3 months, that they basically have abandoned their right to claim anything on the vehicle. But again, this is one of these kind of wishy-washy areas of the law. My experience has been most of the time people just keep the vehicle, drive it until it's no longer drivable, then they just junk it and they never hear from the lender again. I would, however, check my credit report periodically to make sure that the lender did not put anything on the credit report about that vehicle, because again, if you surrender it in bankruptcy, your liability should be over. So that's my take on how to deal with a vehicle that you surrender in Chapter 7, but the lender does not want to take the vehicle back or otherwise cooperate, what your options would be. Any questions about this, anything else related to Chapter 7 or personal bankruptcy, please feel free to reach out to me. I hope you found this helpful. I'm Jonathan Ginsberg, and if you like this, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube or a like on Facebook and subscribe to our channels, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks a lot.